Alrighty, welcome everybody back to another episode of the Ball Knower Podcast Team Preview Series. I'm your host, as always, David Miller, joined today by somebody who is not a fan of the team we're going to be talking about, unfortunately, but it is my boy, the Geek Slays, and we're going to be talking about the Denver Broncos because that is one of the only two teams I haven't talked about yet, and the season has started, and I am behind, and it's a mess, but it's fine. We're going to get it done because I need to say that I completed something.
we've only been planning to record this Broncos episode for like 2 months now. It's great.
Give or take. It's just because Broncos fans apparently don't exist. Like, we had one fan that was going to come on, and he got busy. And then I reached out to Brandon Perna, and he was like, yeah, I'll come on, and then just never got back to me. So the only two Broncos fans on the planet both ghosted me, basically. So...
Yeah, I do kind of want to add the context for why I was the guy to join in here. And that is, I am not a Broncos fan. I am notably a Broncos hater, but I live in Broncos country, so I know what the hell is going on and what Broncos fans are thinking. So I can use that while also shitting on the Broncos a little bit, which makes me happy.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're a Broncos fan, I'm sorry, this is going to be a negative episode. Neither of us have much faith in Denver.
No.
And I think the best place to start, just to kind of illustrate why that is to talk about the Seahawks game. Because with this one, unlike the other episodes, we have the benefit of getting to see what this team might actually look like throughout the season. And it was a complete shit show.
Yeah,
I mean, it was terrible. Since you're the actual Broncos hater here, I'll let you go ahead and start out. Just kind of what were your thoughts on the game as a whole?
So the first thing that really I noticed was the defense is bad. Like, it's bad. You made Geno Smith look like a top 5 quarterback for an entire game. This was the third best defense in the NFL last year. You talked about it on Twitter. The whole every time Vic Fangio leaves, you can see the defense just implode. And we saw that. Patrick Surtain went from the best young corner to suddenly unable to cover. Now, a lot of that is DK is really great. Like the one play over the middle where Surtain's in perfect coverage.
He did everything
DK
he could.
Just goes, I'm just bigger and stronger, so fuck you. But like, Surtain doesn't look good, as good at least. Justin Simmons, did he
non-factor?
Play? Like,
he was a complete non-factor.
This is supposed to be a top 10 safety in the NFL, and he just didn't even look like he was on the field.
No.
The only guy on defense who you can say maybe had an impact is Bradley Chubb, which doesn't mean much because even with the addition of Randy Gregory, Denver's defense just couldn't do anything. So, Chubb got a sack fumble that ended up being immediately recovered by Charles Cross anyways. So it was
basically a pass to Charles Cross the way it turned out.
Pretty much. On offense, the offensive line, just like anybody who has seen the Broncos play in the last few years, they knew it was going to be bad. Denver hasn't tried to fix it since Manning left. The only effort they made was drafting Garrett Bowles, which was a mistake. You drafted a 24-year-old left tackle. He's not even through his rookie deal, and he's 29. I don't
really. I didn't realize he was that old already. Holy shit!
Let me double check that. I think he's 29. He might be 28. No, I'm wrong. Worse though, he's 30.
Jesus.
He's been in the league for like 5 years.
That is insanity. Yeah, that's bad.
That's not ideal. He's 2 years younger than Trent Williams.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I get Trent Williams might be the best in the world at tackle, but he's also old.
And he's also been doing it for how long now? Like a decade?
More than, I think. It
really?
Wasn't. God, what was Trent Williams' 2009 draft? I'm double checking. 2010.
I can't remember.
So 12 years. This is his 12th year. So the same as Von Miller.
Right.
Because I just was listening to him talk on Pat McAfee show.
Before. He was on Pat McAfee today?
On Thursday. I just am very behind on most YouTube stuff. I just kind of watch it when I can.
Fair enough.
It's multiple days old, but I'm getting to it. That's just
Fair enough.
And then Russ did not look like Russ, because you take the quarterback whose like entire career is built on, I don't play in structure. Like, he's the reason Russ is viewed as this great quarterback is not because he can dissect a defense by sitting in the pocket and calling plays. No, he's going to dissect the defense by doing things most people would say aren't okay. Like, just run around behind the line of scrimmage for 5 seconds, stop, fire to a wide open receiver, and just keep moving. That is the definition of what Russ does. I don't know if the dude left the tackle boxes one time against Seattle. He tried to play in structure entirely. And we talked about this on Jake's podcast the other day. The biggest thing for me is Nathaniel Hackett now has taken 2 quarterbacks who are known for being good in the fourth quarter in Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and made both of them look bad in the fourth quarter. These are 2 of the best finishers in the game, but with Hackett calling the plays or dipping his fingers into the pot on offense, they are bad. I'm not going to blame the quarterbacks for that. I'm going to blame Hackett. I've seen Russ and Rodgers do it for 10 years before they dealt with Hackett. The only thing that changed was Hackett. He's the issue, not Russ, not Rodgers.
Yeah, Hackett is like the anti-quarterback whisperer, and that's very apparent. He's horrific. He is absolutely terrible. I mean, I agree with everything you said. Their defense, something that Broncos fans were hyping up to me all offseason, because I picked Denver originally to go like 7-10, I think. And then after a little bit of thought, I was like, well, you know, I'll say they're above 500, but I don't have them as a playoff team. And I already regret that. I did that like 3 days before the season started, and I already want to go back. But they were hyping up this great defense. Oh, we've got all this talent. We've got Pat Surtain. We brought in Randy Gregory. Justin Simmons is that guy. But you don't have Vic Fangio. Like you said that I said, when Vic leaves, a defense completely loses all momentum. It deflates. We saw it in Chicago. We had the 2018 Bears, which were a generational defense. 2019, the next season, Vic's gone. Chuck Pagano, who is another fantastic defensive mind, comes in. It was flat. The defense was flat. They didn't have the same fire. They didn't have the same intensity. They weren't attacking the ball the same. And that's the problem. Yeah, you can get, excuse me, you can get guys that understand Vic Fangio's defensive principles. You can get guys that run the same type of defense he does, because that's what they have in Denver. I can't remember the guy's name to save my life, but their new defensive coordinator is a Vic Fangio disciple. He worked under him for a large portion of the 2010s. And runs the same exact type of base defense that Vic does. But Vic has that flair. He has that intensity. He has that heart. And you just can't replicate it. Like, again, not to go back to Chicago, but we had Sean Desai, who was literally touted as Vic Fangio's right-hand man, the Robin to his Batman, his disciple. He couldn't do it for Chicago either. And ironically, he's one of the guys running the defense in Seattle, which looked great against Denver. Or better than I would have given it credit for. We'll put it that way. Great's pushing it a little bit. But my point is, Vic Fangio leaves, the defense is going to look rough. And that's going to be something that they're really going to have to overcome. And it's going to take a little bit of time. Maybe by the end of the year, they're a solid defense again. But it's going to take time, because that's how big Vic's impact is on a defense. And not having him, as much as Broncos fans love that he got fired and he's not the head coach, not having his influence over the defense is detrimental.
But what sucks for Denver is the issues with Vic Fangio, the time management, the weird offensive stuff.
Yeah.
None of that got fixed with Hackett. But now the defense is worse. Like, that's awful. You had a chance, Denver. You had Ed Donatel was already in the building. He was your DC. He's worked with Fangio forever. We can see, I'm not saying he's on the same level as Fangio, but even after 1 week in Minnesota, you can see Donatel still knows how to do defense. You also could have just brought in Mike Zimmer, who the Vikings fired. I agree. He's an awful head coach. I acknowledge that. But the Vikings had the most sacks in the NFL last year while being the worst team in pressure rate. You know what that means? Zimmer could still dial up a blitz that no offense could figure out. Zimmer can dial up a defense. The Vikings had plenty of problems with him as head coach. the defense most of the time wasn't one of them. There were those 2 years where we were the worst unit in the league because, Hunter, Kendricks, Smith, everybody that was important to that defense just wouldn't play. So, we gave up 6 touchdowns to Alvin Kamara, but the best defensive player on that field that game was Cam Dantzler, maybe? Zimmer knows how to draw up a defense. Denver had a chance to. If we're going to lose Fangio, let's bring in another defensive guy. There were so many options, and you just didn't pick one. You went as bad as you could.
Yeah, you got slightly more corny Matt Nagy. That's what Nathaniel Hackett is.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what I had, PTSD level flashbacks watching that game. That's how bad that offense was ran. Like you said, There is no world where Russell Wilson should be playing in structure, but because Hackett's the big man on campus, he's the new man in town, he runs the ship, he wants Russ to play in structure, and Russ, who was just as corny as Hackett, was like, okay, I'll do it, and it failed. Russ's receivers didn't do him any favors whatsoever throughout the entire game, except for that one catch by Jerry Jeudy, which I don't see him ever replicating.
I do, but the issue is Russ got to get the ball to him. Russ underthrew 20 yards.
Yeah.
Dude was wide open, and Russ just didn't have the arm strength to throw it 22. Yeah. You can only get it 20.
Yeah, that hand injury is really lingering still, which is very concerning. I didn't think it would be as much of an issue, but that throw in particular, you're absolutely right. I would have to imagine that's a big reason why I didn't get down there, because it's not like Russ's arm just automatically became a noodle over the offseason. That's not how that works.
And he made a bunch of throws with zip. It's just he doesn't have, I don't know, whatever it is with his hand. He doesn't have the oomph anymore.
Right.
Hopefully that fixes, because otherwise Denver's screwed.
Yeah. His hand doesn't have that it factor anymore.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's it.
No, but in all seriousness, they are in for a rough season. There's talent on the roster, but with Hackett, if he keeps coaching the way he just coached, which I don't know how he can fix what he did, because all of it was just brain dead bullshit in the moment. Couldn't handle. After the game, he was right after the game, he was already well, maybe we shouldn't have kicked it.
No shit. Yeah, you Russell Wilson. You go for it.
They wasted 40 seconds off the clock just to call a timeout and kick a 64-yarder.
That was the best part of the Manning cast, though. All right, we should take time out here. All right, so take time out. And then just for 30 seconds, Peyton's just sitting there. God. And then Shannon Sharp, what the fuck are we doing? You just wasted 45 seconds just to call a timeout anyways? See,
that was great. But just kind of to go off topic for a second, I love Joel McHale making fun of Peyton every chance he got. What's bigger, your forehead or John Elway's teeth? And then bringing up the fact that he has to mentor Russell Wilson, who's the guy that beat him in the Super Bowl. Joel McHale's funny, but I agree. That whole sequence was horrific. And honestly, I think you might have brought this up when we were talking to Jake on his podcast, that he might already be on the hot seat just after one game.
He needs to be.
Yeah.
He should have been on the hot seat before the preseason.
Yeah, he should have been.
This is bad, especially when there are good coaches sitting out there still.
Vic Fangio could come back in and save the day. He's still out there.
Honestly, you know what I think would be the coolest move for Denver? I would hate it personally, but Sean Payton.
Oh my God.
He already acknowledged 3 days ago on Colin Cowherd's show, he's going to coach again. He said that he will coach again. I saw somebody bring up yesterday, maybe the Chargers, which I find hysterical because I think Staley's a shit coach, but
I also am not a big Staley fan. Yeah.
It's not what we're here for, but yeah. But Sean Payton would be cool. My brain is totally blanking, but there are so many guys that you could take a shot on or that you should have. Brian Flores is still available. I don't know if he'd want to go to Denver after, that experience, but I mean, hey.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. They royally fucked themselves with that.
Yeah.
Because Flores is the anti-Hackett.
Yeah.
He's a fire him up head coach, get the best out of his guys. You know, we saw it. Miami won what, 7-8 straight after starting one, or they would have won 7 straight after starting 1-7.
Yeah.
Like, that's incredible. That's a feat that shouldn't be overlooked, and he shouldn't have been fired after it, but you know, all the off the field bullshit. But Denver really fumbled the bag treating him like a joke.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, it's a fucked up thing to do, but second of all, from just a business standpoint, you're stuck with Hackett now. You could have had Flores, who's a damn good head coach, and you're stuck with Hackett because you're a bunch of racist idiots.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, I mean, they deserve it. At the end of the day, they deserve what's happening. They really do. But just to kind of move on from there, pivot from there, let's run through, talk about this roster and what they've got going on. Obviously, we've touched on a few guys already, but I think the best place to start is just to continue this Russell Wilson dialogue we started a little bit, because this is a big season for him. This is a huge season for him, because we saw him last year where, you know, he's got all this drama surrounding him. He's a locker room cancer. All of his former teammates are starting to come out one by one, taking shots at him. I think Doug Baldwin just took a shot at him on Twitter the other day, which is like the last person you'd expect to get involved, but I think it's hilarious. Like, he's got a lot of allegations to beat, so to speak. And if this team keeps going the direction they're going, and if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he's not going to beat any of them. Like, I already see people taking him out of their top 10s after 1 week because of how bad he played and because of just how not Russ he is anymore. He's not himself at this point.
That's fair. It's tough because my brain just fried for a second. Like, after the game, though, DK and Russ did the jersey swap, and, you know, I guess DK called Russ the best player he's ever played with, all that, you know, wrote that on the jersey that he swapped with Russ, like, for the best player I ever played with. It's weird seeing, like, the guys who won with Russ come out and be like, nah, Russ was kind of cancer in the locker room, and Russ is this, and Russ is that. It's like, dude, without Russ, you wouldn't have won.
Right.
What are you on? And then all the guys who lost with Russ are like, nah, we would have been shit without Russ. Like, oh, God. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then you pivot off of that to, like, what we did find out that, like, the Seahawks wanted to trade Russ like 4 years ago. They were done with Russ. So for 4 years, Russ has been playing for a team knowing that they don't want him anymore.
Even though they're turning around and telling the media they have no interest in getting rid of him.
Yeah, so it's weird that, like, we hold so much of, like, Russ's interview after that week 17 game, or week 18 game last year, sorry, where he said, you know, I want to stay in Seattle. I don't know if he lied.
Right.
He probably did want to stay in Seattle, but it came down to the GM/owner picking the coach over Russ, which probably a dumb choice. Pete Carroll's the oldest coach in football. Why would you want to stick with that guy? Russ has probably another 10-ish years in him. Pete's got 3, maybe
10. You really think 10?
Maybe.
How old is he now? Like 32?
I have no idea, actually.
He's like 32, I think. Russ playing into his 40s would be wild, I think.
I don't know. I don't really see it because, you know, Russ doesn't really have the so yeah, Russ is 33, so I'm a little 33. Off there.
I was gonna say, I don't think his play style is sustainable.
You know, but if I go back to what I was saying, you know, where it was 4 years ago, from that point to now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true.
Like, if we're going back to that, but even now he's got a contract for 7 years, so I guess he's going to 40. So we'll see. But yeah, Russ's play style doesn't really fit playing that long. I don't know how that goes. I
Right.
don't know if this ends well for Denver,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I just don't know what's gonna happen with him this season. It's a really interesting thing to think about because,
yeah,
like you brought up, his deep ball seems iffy, and that's like the most important part of his game, the best part of his game. Because he's a guy that's going to go out there and he's just going to headhunt downfield. That's his game. That's just what he does. And if he can't do that, he's not, like you said earlier, a methodical guy that can just sit in the pocket, pick apart a defense, and make the reads. He's just not that. He needs to be able to get outside of the pocket, create for himself, hit some guy on a crazy route downfield. He needs his Tyler Lockett. He needs his DK Metcalf. And
yep,
yeah, he has Cortland Sutton. He has Jerry Jeudy. But if they're going to keep playing in this system like they are currently, it's not going to work.
yep,
You're taking the guy who is, you're going to love this, the guy who is the anti Kirk Cousins and turning him into Kirk Cousins right now.
yeah,
That is what they are doing with Russell Wilson. And it just doesn't work. In no world will that work.
no.
Like, the numbers for Russ looked fine, but for anyone who watched the game, we know he was not himself. He was not Russ, and this Broncos team can't do anything until he is himself again.
I think that analogy with Kirk makes a lot of sense because we just saw what a perfectly fully structured offense Kirk looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty good quarterback. Like, he looked good against Green Bay. Now, does it stay that way? Who knows? Whatever. But it's exactly right. If you tried to ask Kirk to do what the last 10 years of Russell Wilson were, it would look awful.
Yeah.
And now asking Russell Wilson to do what Kirk does, it's not what Russ does. He doesn't have the ability to do that. That sounds horrible. But Russ is small. Russ
Yeah.
is a short king. He cannot see the middle of the field. He
Mm-hmm.
can't see over his offensive lineman. I'm not trying to make fun of the dude. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
So when you try to sit him in the pocket, when really now all he can do is look outside, you're limiting yourself
Mm-hmm.
so much as an offense. Russ has to be able to break away, get out in the open so he can see everything and start making plays. Let Russ cook is a real thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why the Broncos aren't doing that. Let
Because of
Russ
Nathaniel
cook
Hackett.
and you can win. Yo,
Yeah.
weirdos.
Yeah, like I said, I agree completely. They got to figure something out. You put it perfectly. They got to let Russ cook. At the end of the day, you got to let Russ cook. If you
Yeah.
want your offense to be successful with him at the helm, you have to let him do his thing, or your offense is never going to work. Now, moving on from there, I want to skip over the running backs. We'll come back to them in a second. We can talk about this receiver room because I feel like I'm a little bit lower on their receivers than most people.
I get why. I really
I'm just
do.
not a Jeudy fan. I don't see it.
I am, but not in this offense. Not with Russ. He doesn't make sense. Because Jerry Jeudy can't. He's not a deep down the field receiver.
He's not
He's a
at all.
slot guy.
Yes.
He is a great route runner already.
Mm-hmm.
He might be a top 10 route runner in the league already. Like, dude can run routes. Yeah, he has concentration drop issues. We've seen plenty of times with guys like Davante Adams. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
If you're good at if you're getting open every play, they're going to keep throwing you the ball, and eventually you're gonna figure it out. Like, it doesn't matter that he can't catch. They will just keep throwing him the ball because he's wide open, and he will eventually get better at that.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't make sense. You watch, Jerry Jeudy is not, like, look at that deep ball. Yeah, he had the corner beat, and then once he shed the tackle because he had to come back for the throw, he couldn't outrun DBs. That's not what he does.
Not at all.
So him being the deep receiver doesn't help. It does suck for Denver that Tim Patrick, their best deep ball receiver, is out. And then Cortland Sutton, I really like him.
I do too.
I don't know if he can be your true number one, but
I think he can.
But he is their X. He is their X receiver, which he's not the best for the deep ball either. He's definitely not the worst. I'd take him over Jerry Jeudy for that job any day. But like, I don't know. Without Tim Patrick, you lose something there.
Yeah.
Like, you could see the Broncos offense last year, even with Teddy, when they lost Tim Patrick for just that one game, fell flat because they need that deep guy. He's important to that offense, and they just don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree completely. Obviously, losing Tim Patrick is going to be huge for them, and I don't really need to elaborate on that more. You detailed that perfectly. But with Courtland Sutton, I think I do like him. I do have confidence in him.
Yeah.
I think he can be a good receiver. But ironically, I think, he's being painted as Russ's new DK Metcalf, right? When I think one of the biggest issues in his game is that he's just not a ball winner. He's not somebody that's going to go up 50-50 and moss a guy. And you need a guy like that if you're going to have Russ at quarterback, because he loves just chucking it up and letting his guys do their thing. And you just don't have that in this offense. And Jerry Jeudy, he's getting hyped up as Tyler Lockett, which I think is asinine.
No,
I don't understand.
Lockett's crazy.
Yeah. I think if anything, if you're going to have a receiver that can play the Tyler Lockett role, it's KJ Hamler.
Yeah.
I think out of the guys you have right now, that's the closest you have. But even then, like, he's kind of an unproven guy that hasn't really done much, but he's a fun receiver. You can get creative with him. You can do things with him, which I don't remember if he really did anything against Seattle. I don't remember his name getting called once.
I don't think so, but I do remember hearing his name once, but I don't know if it was like an actual play that happened or they were just talking about him. I'm looking. He had 0 catches for 0 catches for 0 yards.
Yeah, that needs to change too. If this offense wants to get anywhere, he's got to get the ball in his hands, because if they don't have Tim Patrick, he's their next best option for a deep threat. And if they're not going to try to use him, they're not going to use him. You good?
Javonte Williams had more receptions than Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton combined.
Ew. Oh, that's not good at all.
Like, by quite a bit.
What is it? What's the difference?
So Javonte had 11 receptions. Sutton had 4. Jeudy had 4.
What in the fuck? Yeah, that's not good.
Albert O, because I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah.
That's too many fucking letters. Had more catches also than Jeudy and Sutton. He only had 5, but still.
Andrew Beck had half the receptions that Jeudy and Sutton did. He had 2 for 52, I think.
Yeah. Which means he was their most efficient receiver, because he was averaging the most yards per catch.
And people say fullbacks have no spot in today's NFL.
Fullbacks
disgusting behavior. Exactly. Now, Andrew Beck was a baller in that game. He should have had a touchdown.
Probably.
I think it was a shovel pass, I think, that got called back. And it was for a false start, I believe. But he got into the end zone.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, we've got a 6'3" fullback. We're on the goal line half the game. Let's just take him out of the game plan altogether. Why would we run a 6'3" fullback up the middle on the goal line?
What was worse about that is, like, okay, you want to take him out, fine. Put Javonte Williams, your kind of more bruiser, running back in. No, let's give it to our speed guy, Melvin Gordon. What are we doing?
I don't know. Maybe they trust Melvin Gordon more because he's the touted vet and he's got the experience. But even then, I think that's goofy because Javonte is objectively better in those type of situations. The point is they have 2 guys they could have just sent straight up the middle that would have been more effective than Melvin Gordon, and they said fuck you to both of them.
And like, if you want to drop a play at the 1-yard line for Melvin, that's fine, but it's not going up the middle.
No.
Let Melvin use his speed and beat him outside. It would be like the Vikings taking CJ Ham or Alexander Madison out of the game at the 1. And we're going to bring in Kene Nwangwu, Mr. 165 pounds soaking wet, but he's fast.
Oh my.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I just don't understand this team at all. But I think Oh no, do they have any other receivers that are worth mentioning? I don't think they do. They've got
Uh,
2 guys at the bottom of the depth chart that are like return specialists.
I want to double check into
I
that.
don't have their depth chart pulled up in front of me.
I'm pulling it up just now because I'm intrigued. So they have Sutton, Judy, and Hamler, and then Kendall Hinton, Montrell Washington, Tyree Cleveland, and Jalen Virgil.
Oh yeah, I forgot Hinton made the final roster.
Yeah.
Shout out Kendall Hinton, I guess.
Yeah. Shout out.
He's a football player that does things, plays a little quarterback in his free time.
Yeah.
That's
I guess Albert
it.
O counts kind of as a receiver.
Yeah, we can move on to the tight ends here. I like Albert O. I think he's going to. I liked how physical he looked in that Seattle game. I was impressed by his physicality because to me, coming in, I wasn't, super familiar with his game. He's not somebody that I followed through college or anything. And in the NFL, he had shown some flashes at best up to this point, right? Never got time behind Noah Fant, but I was always looking at him as like a speedster tight end, so to speak. If you want a deep threat, I guess is the better way to put it, because nobody's describing tight ends as speedsters, because he's like a legitimate athlete. He ran a really good 40 time. He's got that athletic profile. But I was, like I said, I was impressed by how physical he was getting. He was fighting for yards. He was taking the ball short, running through people. Like, I didn't know he had that in his game. And maybe that's just my ignorance, but I don't think I've heard anybody bring that up before. So maybe that's something he worked on. Because if that's the case, adding that with some speed's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I don't know. My biggest issue with it was I don't think Noah Fant was a requirement for the Rush trade.
Probably not.
I think you should have kept him because Noah Fant is far and away better than Albert O. That's where my biggest issue with it comes in, is I don't think saying, no, we're not going to give you Noah Fant would have broken the trade. I think they would have went, fuck, okay. All right, we had to try to take somebody else, but all right, Shelby Harris, Drew Lock, and the 7 picks. Right. That's probably fine. I don't think it was Noah Fant or no trade. I don't think that's how that was going.
Right.
So
I understand that.
And I'm sorry, Fant would have been your actual I don't want to say DK replacement, but he would have been able to be that guy. Mm-hmm. The fuck it Fant's over there somewhere. And they just were like, nah, we don't need that guy. We're just going to have 2 receivers who are kind of the same dude and Tim Patrick.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I think Albert O has upside.
Sure, yeah.
I don't think he's like a proven tight end or anything. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. But I like him as a project.
Yeah, sure.
But he has really unreliable hands. He's not a good route runner. He can't block. Yeah. But like, I don't know. He's a weird scheme fit too, now that I'm thinking about it. He doesn't necessarily fit with this like wide zone Shanahan offense they're running, because you need a tight end that can block, and he cannot.
And the other issue is you're a team that's trying to compete. Your starters can't still be projects.
Yeah.
You can't have a primary position being a project.
True.
Now, if it was because of injury, then you deal with it and you go. Mm-hmm. But you cannot plan for your entire offensive line and your tight end, and at this point, your receivers, because Jerry Jeudy's having to learn a whole new role. Mm-hmm. Everyone on your offense, outside of Russ and the running backs and the fullback, are projects.
Fullback's a project, by the way. First year he's ever played fullback.
That's fine. Doesn't take that much. You just got to have that dog in you.
Okay,
that's all it takes.
I was actually really okay. Yeah, we'll get to Andrew Beck in a second, because I was actually really impressed with his performance.
You were worried I was going to go somewhere else with that.
I really was. And I was going to have to kick you off my podcast. I was going to finish the last 30 minutes of this by myself. No, I agree. I keep saying it. Offense is a mess. It is a complete mess. There's talent there, but it's not pieced together. It still needs to prove itself. It doesn't fit with Russ. It doesn't fit the offensive scheme that they're trying to go for. It's a mess. But hey, we have a quarterback in Denver now, so all is saved.
No.
Drew Lock is gone. All is saved. But that's
that's
what the Broncos fans told me. Drew Lock is gone. We're saved.
Well, they are saved from ever having to watch Drew Lock ever throw a
I
pass.
think we're all saved from ever having to watch Drew Lock again if Geno Smith keeps it up.
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I'm sorry I even brought his name up. I know that's a sensitive topic.
Hey, at least all the idiot Vikings fans didn't get their wish when they wanted Drew Lock instead of Kirk Cousins.
Oh, I wish they would have, though.
Dude, I would have strongly considered not watching football ever again.
You wouldn't bandwagon, you just give up?
I'd just give up.
Fair enough. I'd probably do
done.
the same thing. If Ryan Pace last year was like, hey guys, guess what? We're trading up in the first round. They drafted like a lineman and also managed to trade their second, or they didn't have a second round. No, they did trade their second round pick for like Drew Lock or something. I probably would have done the same thing. If we ended up with Drew Lock,
Mac Jones.
That would have been better than going for Drew Lock.
Would it have?
Probably.
As Drew Lock fans like to say, at least Drew Lock has some arm talent.
At least Drew Lock's fun.
That's fair.
He dances and he's got a fun nickname.
Hey, Mac Jones did the gritty in the Pro Bowl.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't say that about Mac. Any other quarterback, though, they don't dance like Drew Lock dances on the sideline.
Kirk Cousins does the gritty every game.
Kirk Cousins doing the gritty makes me want to boil my eyes. That is like watching.
Awesome.
It is horrid. It's like watching the creepy uncle at the family cookout be like, hey, kids, look, I got the talk ticks. I hate it. It's horrific. Ticks. Yeah. I got the tickety talk. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate Kirk Cousins. I hate that man so much. Although I will say, I love the memes that are going around from his post-game presser where he was dressed like a white suburban dad on a Sunday afternoon getting ready to go cut the grass.
Yeah.
Like, that was valid. I respect
that's what
that.
Kirk is on the inside.
It is.
He's just your middle-aged suburban father.
Whose best friend is Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I was going to say, who also is just, like, weirdly good at football. So he's friends with, like, these really cool dudes, but he stands out as, like, why is he in that group? That group looks cool, but that guy specifically doesn't belong there.
He buys him beer on Saturday nights.
He's gotta.
That's why Kirk's there.
Nah, dude, that dude's worth money. That dude's buying all the dinners, every dinner.
Kirk's their sugar daddy.
Yeah. That's, dude, when he's like the only quarterback to get every contract he's ever had fully guaranteed.
Oh my God.
You got to remember, for the 3 years Washington kept franchise tagging him, that's $35 a year. And then he gets a fully guaranteed $90 million contract from the Vikings, and then another fully guaranteed contract, and then another one.
People talk about Chase Daniels stealing money. Kirk Cousins is the real thief.
The real thief is actually Sam Bradford. That dude made like 250 M's. And
I forgot Sam Bradford was given money. To be fair,
I shouldn't call that a thief. When Bradford could stay on the field, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Without a doubt. Like, the 1 year he stayed healthy in Minnesota, what did he do? Breaks the all-time completion percentage record in a single season.
Did he really?
Yeah. He completed like 73% of his passes in Minnesota that year.
That's nuts.
Dude was a baller, but he just couldn't stay on the field. He was brittle.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have that record anymore because I just broke it with Justin Fields in my Madden franchise. So.
There you go. There you go.
Sorry, Sam Bradford and all of his 12 fans out there. That's being generous.
Actually, no. I hold the record with Lamar Jackson. For 10 seasons in a row, never had an incomplete pass.
Are you playing on Rookie Arcade?
No, all Madden competitive. I don't do simulation.
Ew, you play on competitive. Gross.
Simulation's awful.
Simulation is how Madden's meant to be played.
No, because the DBs don't actually play on simulation.
They play fine for me.
Jalen Ramsey got cooked by KJ Hamler. Like, NFL record cooked by KJ Hamler.
That's realism.
Playing on simulation.
That's realism.
No, it's not.
It's realism. Anyways, back to the Broncos. I know you're trying to avoid talking about this team.
I'm really not, but we just keep getting sidetracked.
Yeah, just wrapping up. Yeah, wrapping up with the tight ends here. We've got what? Rookie Greg
Oh, God.
Dulcich, who he gives me like Robert Tunyon vibes, kind of.
Who
Greg Dulcich, the rookie.
is not on their depth chart?
What? Did he get cut?
Apparently. Their backup tight ends are Eric Tomlinson and
Hold on. What?
Schobert, Swabert. I don't know how to say his name. But yeah,
he's on the practice squad. That's why.
Well, they don't have
we
that
can
guy,
just
so
we can just skip over him. I didn't realize he got put on the practice squad. Anyways, I mean, Tomlinson and Saubert can block, so that's cool.
You have Minnesota's offense, which basically means Albert O will be out of that offense in a week.
Yes,
because that's what Minnesota did. Irv Smith can't block, but they have Muse and
is it
that
the
other guy? No, fuck. What's his name? But either way, Irv Smith got targeted one time against Green Bay because he was never on the field because they had, Muse isn't there anymore. Johnny Munt and Ben Ellefson were taking all of the snaps. Why? Because they can block.
Interesting.
So I guess Albert O's time in Denver is coming to an end soon.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks.
But anyways, since there's nothing else to talk about with the tight ends, because I thought Greg Dulcich was there and he's not. He's on the practice squad.
Tough.
Let's look at the running backs, because this is actually a solid group. A good group even. Yeah.
Love their third string running back. He's the GOAT.
Mike Boone?
Yeah. Vikings legend, Mike
Boone.
Oh,
Mike Boone was a Viking. There it is. There it is.
Vikings legend, Mike Boone.
I mean, he fits their offense very well. If they're going for this wide zone scheme, he's really good at getting to the outside and using his speed. He's quickest of the three, so he probably fits it the best. But Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon are just better at everything else.
Yeah.
So he's probably not going to get a ton. I think he did get some snaps against Seattle.
He got some, but not a ton.
Yeah, just like 5% of snaps, I think. Give or take.
Oh, that's Wikipedia, not Pro Football Reference.
Yeah, because Wikipedia is going to tell you snap counts.
That's for sure, dog.
They've got that information on lock.
5% of offensive snaps, which was all of 3. But
well, there you go.
He had one target for 1 catch and 2 yards. So.
Good for him. Good for him.
And he also had, was that it? Yeah, he didn't get to run the ball at all. So that's tough.
Yeah.
Come back to Minnesota, Mike. We miss you. You were appreciated here.
Yeah, y'all can cut Dalvin and use Mike Boone.
Fuck it. No.
You heard it here first, folks. The Minnesota Vikings will be cutting Dalvin Cook.
No, you know what I'm ready for? One of these teams that doesn't have a running back. I'm cutting to the Vikings again. This is a problem. I am becoming Bladen with the Browns. Fuck. Oh, no. But no. Get rid of Alexander Madison. Go trade him for like a 2nd-round pick. I can see it. Don't tell me you couldn't. Come on.
A second?
Yeah.
For a running back?
Yeah.
In this economy?
Yeah.
I think you're off your rocker.
The Bills. That's all I have to say.
James Cook's going to be fine.
The Bills have already decided that no, he's not. That's why he's now listed as like 4th on their depth chart.
He's just got to work his way back up.
Well, you know what'll help him? Getting the guy that his brother beat out to come beat him out so he can beat that guy out and both Cooks can be better than Madison.
Buffalo's going to spend a 2nd-round pick to play mind games with a fucking rookie running back.
Yes. And have Alexander Madison, who would be far and away the best running back on their roster.
I don't disagree with that, but I think a 2nd-round pick is a steep asking price.
Well, fine, a 3rd. That's the best I can do.
Back to Denver.
But no, okay, my point was I want Adrian Peterson to go back to Minnesota for one final year to retire. Well, I don't want it to be a one-day contract thing. Like, I want him to play in Minnesota.
Didn't he just get knocked out?
Yeah, by Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. You want that guy on your team?
Yeah.
The guy that beats his kids but can't beat Le'Veon Bell?
Whoa.
Yikes. Anyways.
Whoa.
Denver's running backs. You got my UNC boy, Javonte Williams, who I adore. Absolute
Of course you do.
stud. I mean, I have good reason to. That UNC backfield with him and Michael Carter was amazing, and both of those guys are balling out in the NFL right now. Michael Carter played great last week, but Javonte, I mean, he's got everything you want. You know, he's one of, if not the hardest player to tackle on the field at all times.
Yep.
He's developing as a pass catcher. I mean, we already saw he had 11 catches in the first game.
Yeah.
He's got great contact balance. He's got a good build. He's got good athletic ability. He needs to improve his vision a little bit, which is kind of my big issue with him. But, I mean, otherwise, everything's there. Everything is there. He's just got to learn to see the field a little bit better.
And apparently, I'm so sorry, this just shocked my brain. Apparently, Denver also needs to figure out how to use their running backs because Denver's offense is broken. Okay, this just clicked to me. You have your power back who wasn't great at receiving, and then you have your speed back who's a really good receiver. So let's take the roles we know they're good at and
flip them. Yeah,
what
just
the
flip
fuck?
them.
Why
That's
is
how you keep a
Melvin
defense on their toes.
It's
because they're trying to keep a defense on their toes.
Because
that was
Nathaniel Hackett's fucking idiot.
That was a 5-head move by Nathaniel Hackett. Okay,
stop.
Big brain. It's like Trick Room in Pokemon. You don't play Pokemon. You don't understand that joke. Never mind. Somebody's gonna get that out there, and I'm gonna love him for it.
Somebody tweet at Miller and tell him you got that because he needs that in his life right now.
No, yeah. But anyways, the point is, like, you're right. That is absolute blasphemy that happened. That didn't click with me either. I don't know why it didn't.
Yikes, dude. But your best position group and you're using them wrong. I don't.
Yeah.
Why?
Hackett.
Why?
Hackett's a hack.
Dude,
that's going to be the tagline for this. Hackett's a hack.
Fire him now.
Call
up Green Bay, see if you can take Rich Bisaccia from them. You'll be better, I promise.
Well,
Look at the Raiders last year.
I don't think they're going to give up Rich Bisaccia. I don't think that's going to happen.
The Packers special team still sucks, so it's fine.
Did it suck last week? I didn't pay much attention.
It wasn't really a factor. So.
I went back and I watched Minnesota's offense because I heard Kirk Cousins looked competent. And I watched some of Green Bay's offense, and that's all I got from that game. I didn't get to watch the whole game. So I don't know all the little ins and outs.
And I didn't get to watch most of the afternoon games. Why? Because I watched the Vikings. They're not on TV here much. So I watched the Vikings. Fuck every other team at that point. I don't care. Didn't watch the Patrick Mahomes masterclass.
I didn't watch it either because I knew it wasn't going to be a football game. It was just going to be Mahomes playing catch in the backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek Carr is going to find a way to throw 3 interceptions next week, and I'm going to look like a fool for being a Derek Carr fan.
No, Derek Carr's fine. He's great. He's great. I love him.
I mean, I think he is too, but a lot of people don't like Derek Carr.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I know this isn't a Raiders episode either, but holy fuck.
I mean, he's in the same division. It's close enough.
Like the weird Raiders fans have asked me, so what's your real opinion on Derek Carr? It's like, this dude has dealt with more bullshit than any other quarterback in the NFL. And what does he do anyways? Just fucking win.
Mm-hmm.
He is, by definition, a Raider. Just win, baby, is the only thing Derek Carr knows. He is a Raider. He bleeds black and silver. And just for that, you can't move on from the guy. Because he's not bad. Sure, he's not Mahomes. You're not going to find Mahomes. Like, these teams that keep trying that, it doesn't work out. We'll let our good QB leave, our decent QB leave because we're going to go find a star. How'd that work for Washington?
Right.
How's that going to work out for Seattle? Probably not great. Geno might be that star. I don't know.
30-year-old Geno Smith, or around 30-year-old Geno Smith.
Just a late bloomer, dog. He's fine.
That's not a late bloomer. That's
a late bloomer.
That's a man getting a second wind in his later years.
The late bloomer. Well, he never bloomed, so there was no first wind.
There was. It was college.
He
was actually solid at West Virginia.
Well, yeah. The dude
People forget that.
I don't. Dude was he should have been a first-round pick, but the Bills reached on EJ Manuel for whatever reason.
Listen, him, Tavon Austin, and Stedman Bailey, that was a fun offense.
Yes, it was.
And then Stedman Bailey got shot, sadly.
Jesus.
He's okay. He's living life now. He was an undrafted free agent, signed with the Rams, did a couple things on special teams, and then he got shot, but he's fine now, to my knowledge. I know he recovered. I hope he's still fine. Like, if he's not fine now, it wouldn't be because of that incident. It would be because of a separate incident that I'm not aware of.
Or because of the trauma of that incident. But
no, he's fine.
Oh, right. He's a dude. He doesn't.
Yeah, we're not allowed to have trauma. You forgot that.
Well, yeah, because I have a lot of trauma. So
no, you don't.
It's fake. I do.
No, you're pretending. It's not real.
Oh.
It's not real. It's an attention thing, but nobody's going to give you attention for it because you're
right. So I don't know.
Anyways, this just got really fucking dark.
Yeah, that got dark. On to the offensive line.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anything else to say about the running backs. They're both very good, but they're doing the wrong thing right now.
Yeah, they need to fix that. Wrong.
Yeah.
O-line, they have Garrett Bowles' old ass.
I still can't get over the fact that he's still on his rookie deal. That is nuts. How does that happen?
Brandon Whedon, that's how.
Oh my God, not Brandon Whedon again. We talked about.
Why do we keep bringing up Brandon Whedon every time we talk? I don't understand.
I don't know. I was thinking about when we did the Browns episode, the one guy I had on, his name was Phones. He has a deep hatred for Brandon Whedon. He made sure to detail that in detail.
Fair.
So
Fair.
This is the second time Brandon Whedon's got brought up on one of these.
Yeah. Brandon Whedon, the GOAT.
Yeah, but anyways.
The Broncos O-line has some pieces that aren't terrible.
Yeah,
you said, oh no, did something break?
No, I thought you were about to go on about Brandon Whedon.
No. Brandon Whedon better than Russell Wilson. Denver should go sign him.
Okay, anyways.
But no, like Lloyd Cushenberry could turn out to be a pretty decent center. Quinn
Miners.
Yep. I didn't know how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah, it's Quinn Miners.
He's
a stud. A stud in the making.
He's out this week, apparently. So that's
really?
Netane Moody, I really like, but they have him like fifth overall in the depth chart as a guard.
Well, isn't he one of those guys that just can't stay healthy?
Pretty much.
Isn't that his big thing?
Yeah. He's questionable this week, even though he didn't play last week. So, like, dude, what are we doing? But, like, I don't know. Dalton Reisner and Cam Fleming are, like, huge problems. And then, again, the fact that Cushenberry and Miners are projects is a problem.
Yeah. I wouldn't say Reisner's necessarily a problem. I mean, he's not, like, bad all around. He's a good run blocker.
Sure. But
he's a terrible pass protector. So he's not a full-blown problem.
Russ.
Shh, let me sound smart. Shh.
Let me sound smart. This guy. Jesus. But no, like...
Yeah, their offensive line has problems. It definitely does.
And I guess Bowles is a problem, too. Because...
long-term, he's a problem.
Yeah, let's draft our franchise left tackle. He's older than all of the star left tackles in the league already, but fuck it.
Yeah.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah. You know, I was just thinking about it with Reisner. He has no like athletic ability, and they run a wide zone offense, so he really is a full-blown liability.
It's almost like I just told you that. It's wild.
Listen, he's a technically sound run blocker, okay?
Okay,
I wanted to give him credit. Cleveland. They don't need another one. Do they?
No.
Can he play center?
Fuck it. We try. You need a center in Cleveland, so fuck it. Why not? Give it a shot. Yeah. See what happens.
Send him to Houston. They can use him.
Go. They could.
Perfect scheme fit.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, this O-line's a problem kind of through and through. Because, like, Garrett Bowles is good, but he's also not a franchise left tackle, if we're being
No.
honest. Like, he's good, but he's not, Tyron Smith or Trent Williams or, I'm forgetting a bunch of names, but that's
Braxton
okay.
Jones.
I don't know if that's a name I was gonna go for.
Well, it's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay. I'll let you have that one. I'm not gonna put my stamp of approval on that one.
No, but yeah, this offensive line. I mean, I think Miners and Cushenberry will be good long term.
Yeah.
But the problem there is once they're good, Bowles is going to be out of the fucking door, and you're going to be looking for a left tackle, right? And oh my god, yeah, this team is cooked. They are in a rough spot.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got familiarity. Billy Turner's here with Nathaniel Hackett. They know each other.
Cool.
And there's also familiarity because Russell Wilson has never had a good offensive line. So
that's fair.
Double entendre there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Wasn't going for it at first, but
yeah.
On the bright side, though, they have good depth.
Yeah, that
like Graham Glasgow is a starting caliber lineman.
That's fair.
Calvin Anderson played well last year in the little bit of time he played. And then Cam Fleming's a good swing tackle.
Yep.
But it's kind of sad when your depth is the only proven part of your offense.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to say offensive line, but offense, period.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh my God.
It's not ideal.
Yeah.
What?
But hey, on the bright side, Andrew Beck looks great.
That's fair.
He looks swell. He had, he's a converted tight end. So obviously you've got a fullback with above average height, which, as I said earlier, is beneficial because fullbacks most of the time are just running them straight up the middle if they're going to run. And they have, it's the same thought process like a QB sneak. If you have a tall quarterback, they have more body to attempt to get into the end zone.
Yeah.
But it already looks like Denver doesn't care about that at all. So why have it if you're not going to use it? His blocking, I was really impressed with. He said a couple nice blocks, specifically on some toss plays or pitch plays.
Yeah.
Sending guys to the outside. He played really well. He had the two big catches. One was like a flat route that he took for like 15 yards. And the other one, I think it was a wheel route where he was running up the sideline and made that sick one-handed grab. Like I was very impressed with him the first week of the season. And I hope he gets utilized more. Because I made a TikTok, like a 3-minute rant about the whole situation. Because I genuinely think Denver could have benefited a lot from using him more in the first week, especially on the goal line in any way, shape, or form. Even if he's just there to block, it would have been better than what they were doing.
It almost seems like
they
Denver
probably
wants
won't.
A fullback, but they only want Juszczyk or CJ Ham.
Yeah.
Because those two have a very different skill set than almost every other fullback in the league. Yes, they both can block, but they are more of a weapon than a blocker. Which we've seen with both of those teams, which Denver wants Andrew Beck to be that, and he's really not.
Yeah,
he can do a lot of things well, but he doesn't have the skill set to play like Ham and Juszczyk.
Yeah,
he's not
an elite route runner. He doesn't have super not an elite route runner, doesn't have super reliable hands or anything like that. But I guess he has a reliable hand.
Yeah,
but when they're put together, they're not quite as reliable. There's
awesome.
Also, I just want to say Kari Blasingame is in that same mold. He's not to the same talent level.
That's fair.
But he's in the same mold.
I haven't watched enough of Kari to comment on him. Yeah. That's why I didn't bring him up.
Fair enough. I just had to throw it out there
because I don't want to sound like a complete moron, especially with the fullback guy. Like, I'll talk about the fullbacks I know.
Right. That's about it. All two of them.
No, I even brought up Ricard.
Oh, okay.
And then, there's some guys that I don't know if they're even like. Did Andy Janovich ever get picked back up?
No.
Weird. I don't get it.
Maybe Jano's time is just past. I mean, he's like a 30-year-old. He's like a 30-year-old fullback. They usually don't last that long.
What? That's not even accurate. He's 29.
Okay, so almost 30. And the lifespan of a fullback is like 6,
here's why
7
that's
years.
wrong. Because, CJ Ham's 29, Juszczyk is in his 30s, Ricard is in his 30s.
Okay.
All the good fullbacks are 30.
The 3 elite fullbacks are 30. There's 3 of them, but historically, fullbacks typically have like a 5, 6, 7 year shelf life.
That's fair, because I remember Marcel Reese kind of disappeared randomly.
Yeah.
I loved Marcel Reese. I don't know why, but I did.
It's just those 3 are like, I don't want to.
Unicorns?
They're not all unicorns, though. Like, it's just they fit their offenses so well and have been with, not in CJ Ham's case, I was going to say the same coach, but they've been with the same group. It's just their impact with their team isn't replicable by somebody else. It's hard to find another Ham, Ricard, Juszczyk. So those 3 are going to play their position until they physically can't anymore.
Yep.
So that's just a rarity. You don't see that a lot.
That's fair.
I guess Michael Burton's getting kind of close to that. He's like 27 or 28, but he's also been with like 6 different teams.
But that's also a thing you got to look at. Most fullbacks are older, not like in their 30s, but they're late 20s.
Yeah.
Because most younger guys don't play. There's not many fullbacks in college. So there's not many coming into the league. So you either transform into one as a tight end, you become a fullback, or you just become a tight end if you were a fullback in college.
They put them everywhere. Tight end, linebacker, they convert them everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you have instances like Troy Hairston, the guy who took Janovich's job. He was a defensive end, I think, in college, and came out, and now he's a fullback. So it's fullback's such a fun position to monitor and see how guys move around and whatnot. But maybe that mold is starting to break now that you bring it up. Because historically speaking, apart from like the elite of the elite, Jim Brown, Bronco Nagurski, Larry Zonka, your average fullback has a shelf life of 7 years maximum.
Yeah.
But these guys right now are getting more and more chances.
Yeah. I think part of that's the workload reducing. I mean,
true.
Even Juszczyk, who is the best of them, is getting like 40% of offensive snaps. That's not a huge number. So they're not building up the wear and tear, which theirs might be even worse than a running back.
Oh, it is.
Because they're actually going out and popping people.
Yeah.
And then, but I was just about to bring this up. Fullback might be the position with the biggest gap between the top guys. And
absolutely.
The only other one that's bigger or at least close is kicker, because Justin Tucker is.
I would say kicker is probably better.
But fullback is next.
Yeah.
Because after, the big 3, Juszczyk, Ham, Ricard, it kind of there are good backs,
I wouldn't say there's a massive drop off from the top 3 to the next 2, but after those 2, there's a big gap. Like there is a drop off. Like you get to Ingold and Blasting Game is your next 2. And then after Blasting Game, there is a drop. And then after like Derek Watt, you fall off a fucking cliff.
Derek Watt, I feel so bad for. I feel like he could be really good.
Yeah, I'm starting to come around on Watt. I've given him a lot of shit saying he's the only fullback that gets credit for name value, but I am starting to come around on him. I went back and rewatched him a little bit.
Look at what we know of the Watts and just look at the dude on the sideline. I feel like that dude could be a monster. They just don't let him be.
Yeah. It's common Pittsburgh L.
Yeah, it makes me sad they didn't sign JJ. I wish all 3 Watts were on the same team.
I'm glad they didn't sign JJ. I don't want to have to hate JJ Watt.
JJ's great.
I love JJ. Exactly. That's my point. I don't want to have to feel the conflicting feelings I feel towards Mitch Trubisky, towards JJ Watt, an actually relevant football player.
I'm just glad you have to feel those feelings now. You know what it was like for me last year watching Teddy play for the Blue and Orange.
Yeah.
Ugh, that hurt my soul.
The only difference is Teddy's a competent quarterback.
That's fair.
And I'm sure Broncos fans are going to hate that statement.
Oh, well, Broncos fans are morons. They thought Drew Lock was better than Teddy. And which is weird because you watched Teddy make your offense good for 4 weeks. And then they decided, hey, that throwing the ball deep thing that you are so far the best in the league at this year? No more.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what? You guys were leading the NFL in big play percentage because Teddy was just like, fuck it, I'm just chucking it around today. And then you go, no, none of that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, our offense looks boring now. It's like, yeah, because KJ Hamler's wide open 30 yards down the field, but don't throw it to him because Vic Fangio decided we don't take shots. I don't know. I think Kirk Cousins called and was like, you're doing too much.
Hey, Vic, listen, buddy. I get what you're trying to do, but take it from good old Kirk. You don't need
it's
all that.
Safer
Too
if we
much.
go short.
You're going to turn the ball over. You're going to throw an interception 40 yards downfield. And even though that's technically an arm punt, it doesn't matter. You need the 3-yard pickups on 2nd and 3rd down.
It was like the one against the Browns that I saw Broncos fans freaking out about because Teddy tried to hit KJ Hamler like 70 yards downfield and just didn't get it there. But it was 3rd and 24. He just arm punted that bitch. Like,
yeah.
Fuck it. There's a receiver there. Let's give it a go. It didn't work. That's
Kirk
one of
would
those,
throw that
like,
ball 20 yards short of the sticks.
Yeah, he would. Fuck
He'd
it, CJ Ham.
I was going to say Dalvin, but that's even better.
Yeah. It was, well, you said 3rd down. They're going ham.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. Like half of TikTok reminded me. Even though you only saw Steven make that video.
Dude, I've still only seen that one video of
I'm going to go hunt all of them down and spam your DMs with them.
Fuck it, I'm down because I love it. CJ Ham getting the praise he deserves.
Dude, I got, not to get too much more off topic, because we still have a whole defense to talk about.
Yeah.
But I got tagged in one of those videos, and by somebody that follows me, and I replied, and I was like, you love to see it. And then the guy who made the video, I wasn't paying attention, apparently followed me and like flipped his shit that I commented on his video. And I was like, damn, I'm really Hollywood now.
Miller's gone Hollywood on us.
Dude, I keep having little Hollywood moments. It's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good shit.
I have to, this is going to sound really cringy.
Let's go. Cringy.
But for one of my college classes, it's a mass communications class, like intro to communications is what it is. And our first assignment is we have to write a little like speech and deliver it online. Like we have to record ourselves, upload it on Canvas. And it has to be about who we are, what we like, and a social cause we're passionate about. And anyone that knows me knows one of my biggest things is women's involvement in sports, specifically football.
Yep.
And we have to have like evidence to support it. So I can't just be like, well, I really think women should play football. I got to have hard evidence.
Okay.
And all I have is my TikTok and my podcast. So I'm going to have to write in my speech, my most viewed video on my podcast YouTube channel is talking about why women are treated unfairly by the NFL with over 1,000 views. And also I have made multiple TikToks that have over thousands of views talking about women's involvement in the NFL. Yeah. And that's going to hurt.
I hate that I have the same stance as you when it comes to women in sports, but I also made a video last year when the Vikings interviewed, oh God, what was her name? The lady in the front office for the Eagles. I can't remember her name.
But I can't remember her name either.
We interviewed her, and I was like, I don't want her as my GM. Not because she's a woman, but because she was in the Eagles organization.
And now look at Philly. Right. So it aged poorly twice.
Well, no, because, dude, Philly just almost lost to the Lions. You're supposed to be the best team in the NFC. You almost let Jared Goff dissect you.
Okay,
actually,
but
he did dissect
you. Okay, but they traded Jalen Reagor. What more could they possibly do?
To the team who took the receiver they should have. Now we have both of them. I can't wait for Monday when Jalen Reagor catches like 3 touchdowns just as a fuck you. I can see it. I see the path.
Anyways.
I see the path.
Anyways,
you know, do you remember what happened the last time the Vikings took up the washed up Eagles receiver who the Eagles gave up on?
Please shut the fuck up. I
He
saw
became
that
Chris
Purple
Carter.
for the Win podcast post that, and I wanted to delete their Twitter
Dude,
account.
what if Jalen Reagor does actually become a
If
stud in
Jalen Reagor
Minnesota?
becomes like Chris Carter level, I don't know. I'm gonna be on watch, I guess. Like I don't know what to say.
Also, speaking of cringy earlier, I don't think you get to take the claim of saying anything cringy. I'm over here flaunting a TikTok tattoo, so I'm cringy.
Well,
Not
there's a
you.
difference between I do this for a living and hey, other college students, I do
That's
this in my
fair.
spare time.
That's
You know,
fair.
it would be one thing if I was just sending this to my professor because I wouldn't care, but it's a
Sure.
public thing for all of my class to see, and I
Yeah.
literally have no other choice. Like that's my only support. I have no other support unless I could get on like not college game day. That's already over. Unless I can get on like Monday Night Football tomorrow night and start spewing statistics and upload that. I'm
That'd be
screwed.
sick.
That would be insane. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with TikTok and YouTube. And when somebody
No,
tries
there's
to tell you there is, tell them to open their phone and go to their TikTok profile and see that they've
right.
uploaded videos with no views and just
There's
be like, you're just
nothing
mad you're
wrong with
not
it.
me.
Right. There's nothing wrong with it. But the idea of like kind of bragging about it, because that's how it's going to come off. Because that's not how I am. You know, I would never go up to somebody and be like, hey, you know, I have almost 10,000 followers on the Clock app. Like, that's not me. That's fucking cringy. But like, for me to, like, literally, I'm going to have to say word for word, my most viewed podcast episode is talking about women's rights in football or women's representation in football. And that sounds kind of pretentious.
A little bit.
And I'm being pretentious about a YouTube channel that has less than 250 subscribers. Like, it's not meant to be pretentious. It's a factual statement, but that's how it's going to come off because that's the stigma that this shit has with it. Because if you bring up numbers online, it is automatically bragging narcissism.
Or begging for people to
one or the other.
You.
Desperate or narcissistic, one or the other. There's no
I get that. I've had people claim that with me because of my whole geek fell off joke that I started.
Well, that's funny. It's a fun little inside joke.
Like it's like, fuck. Because it's accurate. Well, okay. It's accurate on TikTok. Let's be clear here.
Yeah.
Everywhere else is kind of on the ups, but TikTok's just like, no, fuck you.
Fair enough.
But
anyways, Broncos defense bad.
Yeah, their D-line is awful.
Their defensive line is legitimately a bunch of number twos.
Yeah, Dre'Mont Jones, DJ Jones, and Deshaun Williams is not a good starting group.
No.
Mike Purcell is the only good guy off their bench also.
Mm-hmm. Nick Benito could be good, but
he's not
as of right now.
Technically a defensive lineman.
Well, yeah, he is. He's
their weak side linebacker, dude.
They're in a 3-4 defense.
Yeah. So you have 3 defensive linemen. Their 3 are Jones, and Williams.
Yeah, but outside
Benito's
linebackers in a 3-4 defense are pass rushers.
Well, they're pass rushers, but they are not defensive linemen.
They're close enough.
It's not mutually exclusive there, bud.
It's close enough.
I'm not going to argue that they're actually linebackers, but I'm not going to argue that they're defensive linemen. They are, to me, they are called edge rushers for a reason.
I agree.
They're their own position group almost because they don't play like a defensive end and they don't play like a linebacker.
Okay, if you want to go that route, I agree.
3-4 defensive end. They don't play like a 3-4 defensive end.
Okay.
They do play like a 4-3 defensive end.
Right, that's kind of where I was getting at because an outside linebacker in a 3-4 is a defensive end is a 4-3. They do the same thing. But if we want to go the route of their edge rushers, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's the way I like to go about it. It just makes more sense because to me, there are also defensive ends who aren't rushers.
Right.
Jadeveon Clowney is not a pass rusher.
Right.
He's a run stuffer.
Right. Okay.
But he's still an end on he was on a 4-3. Browns run a 3-4 now. I don't know. I don't care. They're the Browns.
I think they run a 4-3.
Yeah. So he's still an end, but he's not.
Okay, yeah, if you want to go the route that they're edge rushers, it's
Yeah.
fine by me. So yeah, just looking at Jones, Williams, Henningsen, Purcell, Wazarike, and Henningsen.
Yeah.
Bad.
It's
Whoa,
bad.
wait a minute.
Huh.
The Bears just cut Tavon Young. What?
Wait, like right now?
Yes, right this second.
What?
He was on IR. So they cut him from IR, but I'm really surprised by that. I mean, I know how the team adjusts from there, but I'm shocked that's the move they're making.
They also cut David Moore.
Well, that doesn't matter. He was never going to get any playing time anyways.
Does matter. The Bears receivers are bad, and now they're cutting even more of them.
Bears receivers played well last week. I don't care what anybody said.
Dude, yeah, in the like 12 pass attempts that existed. Whoa.
Equinemius St. Brown caught a touchdown.
So did Dante Pettis.
Yeah.
More people know who I am than know who Dante Pettis is.
Dante Pettis had draft hype. Thank you very much.
4th round draft hype.
Yeah, he was a sleeper. And then he just got hurt a lot.
He was a sleeper, and now he's asleep. We get it.
He's not asleep. He has more receiving touchdowns than the entirety of the Packers receiving core.
Well, you can thank Christian Watson for dropping that.
Anyways, back to the Broncos defensive line.
It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I like DJ Jones. He's a good run defender.
Yeah,
that's it.
Like, that's not saying much. I mean, good God.
He's getting a lot of money too. 3 years, $30 million.
Yeah. Now they're edge rushers, though. I'm totally moving away. They're edge rushers. Denver's got good edge rushers.
Yeah.
I like Randy Gregory. Mm-hmm. I like Bradley Chubb, and I like Nick Bonito.
Right.
So they've got 3 edge rushers that are capable. They're quality.
Yeah.
They're not using them right, though. I don't know if I saw Nick Bonito step on the field week 1.
Well, you know.
Why?
That's
also,
how it be.
If you want to make, okay, just real quick, you want to make Denver's defense better? Put Randy Gregory as an actual defensive end, as a down defensive end, and just have Bonito and Chubb as your edge rushers.
I think you're going the wrong way with that. I think you got to put Chubb as the down defensive end. Gregory's too small to be a defensive end in a 3-4.
Randy Gregory's
he's
I'm
skinny.
Not going to say this.
He's skinny.
Yeah. So Randy Gregory is 6'5", 242.
Yeah, he's too skinny. He's going to get bullied.
Bradley Chubb is a little, he's bigger.
What is Chubb?
Okay, but also you have to remember, Randy Gregory's never played as an edge rusher outside linebacker before. He's always been a down defensive end.
But he's always been in a 4-3, so it's different.
Right. Fair. But down defensive end is like, he doesn't understand the assignments of an edge rusher in a 3-4.
Fair. I don't know.
I'm just never played down defensive lineman.
Right.
He's always been edge rusher.
Yeah, I don't
like.
The only reason I said that is because I'm concerned about how skinny Gregory is and his complete lack of ability in the run game. Because you want a defensive end down there that can play run defense, and Gregory is a borderline liability as a run defender. He is bad.
Yeah.
So, like, I get where you're going with that, and you're not wrong, but I just think this is the wrong personnel group to try something like that with.
That's fair.
Like, I don't know. I mean, Gregory's got good power to him at least, so maybe you can do something with that, but he's still 240 pounds going to be going up against, like, Quentin Nelson if you're doing that. And that's not going to work. He's going to be on his ass every snap of the game.
That's fair.
So I don't know. I get wanting to get Nick Bonito on the field. I do. Trust me. He's a fucking ball of lightning. I don't know. Maybe he's a little bit bigger. Maybe he could move down.
6'3", 240. He's smaller in every way.
Yeah. Yikes.
So I guess put Bradley Chubb down there, but I don't love that either.
Yeah.
Although
I don't know, I think Chubb's skill set would fit better because he's not a speed rusher. He doesn't have great bend. He doesn't have great get off. He's a power guy.
That's fair.
So I don't. Plus, he's got a big frame too. You know, he might not weigh a lot, but he's built, and he's got really good technique. So if you're going to put him inside against guards, I mean, he's just going to be able to get past them. He's going to be able to work him technically and use his strength to get past him.
The answer for Denver is you fucked up. This whole defense is a problem.
The defense is wrong. That's
your
the
linebackers
answer.
suck.
Oh, they're horrific, dude.
Singleton and Jewell are not ideal. Miles Jack was a free agent.
Yeah.
I just want to bring that up.
I will say real quick, I don't want to discredit Josey Jewell
I do.
All around, because he's a smart linebacker. He knows where he needs to be, but he just can never get there.
Okay, I know where he needs to be too. That doesn't mean I should be on an NFL field.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That's, just because you understand football doesn't mean you can play it.
Maybe he should be the coach.
Maybe. That could be better. Fuck, maybe Nathaniel Hackett should play linebacker.
We fixed the Broncos, everybody. Nathaniel Hackett at middle linebacker. Josey Jewell's the head coach. Bradley Chubb's playing defensive end, and everybody's happy. Except for me, because I don't like the Broncos.
Me either. So this is tough. Yeah. But I don't know. They made so many moves, but none of them were good.
Yeah, you've got two linebackers with straight up physical limitations with Jewell and Singleton. I mean, Jonas Griffith is there, and he played well when he was on the field last year. He's one of those guys that maybe there's something there. But again, like you said earlier with the offense, this is a contending football team. Your linebacker core can't be two guys that can't do their job and then somebody who might be able to do it here in a couple years. Even if you think linebacker isn't an important position in the NFL, it is in this defense, and the linebackers they have can't do shit.
What bothers me is they had better linebackers. They had Alexander Johnson, who's actually good and is still a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Why not call him? And then if you look at the guys who are available, Leighton Vander Esch was a free agent. You could have signed him. He'd be the best linebacker you have. Mm-hmm. So was Andre Campbell was a free agent. Kaiser White, Anthony Walker, Miles Jack. Donta Hightower is still sitting out in free agency. I know he's old, but your linebackers suck. Maybe call him. Just a thought.
You want to know the real kicker?
Huh.
They drafted Greg Dulcich in the 3rd round. I am almost positive he was taken before Nakobe Dean or Leo Chenal. Nakobe Dean and Leo Chenal were both there. I'm 90% sure of it.
Denver's becoming the new Philadelphia. They just refuse to draft linebackers and just misdraft receivers. They just pick the wrong one.
I'm going to double check on Dean, but yeah, Chenal was definitely available.
I think Nakobe Dean went after Chenal.
Did he?
Yeah. Maybe. I think he did. Draft. Are you looking at Dean or Chenal?
Either one. Either of them coming after Dulcich, because either one would have been a better pick.
Theo Chenal was the third.
Okay,
he was a 3rd round pick by the Chiefs. I don't see exactly where, but
Nakobe Dean was 3 picks after Greg Dulcich. And
maybe I'm wrong about. Oh fuck.
Chenal was 23 picks after Dulcich.
Where was Asamoah?
Asamoah must have been 4th or 5th round.
Or was he a 2nd rounder?
I hope they didn't take Brian Asamoah in the 2nd round.
He probably did, because we took Ed Ingram in the 2nd round as well. Although Ed Ingram actually, as much as he's not a great dude, didn't look bad.
Round 3, pick 66. So he was actually before Dulcich.
Okay, so
14
that's not
before.
A terrible look for the Broncos because he was just already off the board.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying he would have been the best pick either, but just like
but Dean and
he's an
Chenal,
option.
my top 2 linebackers were still on the board,
Yep.
and they took a tight end who's on the practice squad.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially, that's even worse when you think of some of just the other people just available.
Yeah.
They could have, they could have tried things.
Yeah.
Just something. I don't know. This George Patton, who former Vikings assistant GM, I thought he was doing really good in Denver for a while. And then just suddenly everything is bad.
Yeah.
And it's on him. He's the general there. General George Patton. Like, it's bad. But I guess he picked Patrick Surtain, so that's good.
Yeah. But that one kind of fell in his lap.
Yeah. Well, no.
He got lucky because the Panthers took J.C. Horn.
That's fair. But also, people just expected Surtain to fall to 11 anyways, so, which was the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Broncos were at 9.
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of expecting the Broncos to do other things, like, but Surtain.
Yeah. Now, speaking of their linebackers, I just want to say Baron Browning's here, and he was a linebacker, like an inside linebacker, but now they're moving him out to the edge.
Yeah.
And, like, sure, I guess he's got the size to do it. He's got the coverage ability to be like a hybrid edge, which, cool. But when you don't have any middle linebackers and you already have Bradley Chubb, Nick Bonito, and Randy Gregory, what is the point?
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense at all. This team is just wrong. And like, look, I get that me and Geek are just 2 dudes that sit in our room and talk about football all day. We're not NFL head coaches. We're not talent scouts. We're not evaluators. But that doesn't matter. This is our opinion here.
Right.
We can think coaches are wrong. Because I know that crowd exists where it's like, well, they're coaches. They know better than you. Shut the fuck up. Maybe they don't. Coaches can be wrong.
I was going to say they don't always. Just because we aren't part of an NFL organization, I just said this in a TikTok. Just because you played football at a high level or are a coach at a high level does not mean you know ball. And just because you didn't play at a high level or never coached at a high level doesn't mean you don't know ball. Everybody's going to have opinions. Everybody's going to think they're correct, obviously. And sure, are we going to be wrong about things? Absolutely. Are the NFL head coaches? Yeah, we watch it happen all the time. And we kind of predict it.
I suffered through 5 years of it. 5 years of somebody being wrong in every single turn.
So part of the Zimmer sport. For the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Pre that, Zimmer was actually a good coach, but something happened after that Minneapolis miracle that just flipped Zimmer. I don't know what it was.
Zimmer sold his soul for that play.
Well, no, actually, I don't think that's what it was. I genuinely think it was just bringing in Kirk. That was his final straw. Like, we know Everson Griffin came out and said it. Go ask Zimmer who he wanted at quarterback. They picked Kirk over Teddy, and Zimmer could not live with that. Which I get. Teddy was the guy Zimmer chose. I get being upset that somebody else is taking that decision away from you when you're the guy in charge of running the team. I get it. But like, to sabotage yourself like that was a weird choice.
Yeah.
But that's what people do.
Yeah. Now, real quick, I want to double back and just give my thoughts on the defensive line here since we just skipped over it because they are bad.
No, we talked about them.
Kind of. Like, when I do these, I like to give guys their little bit of credit, even if they're not the best. I like to highlight what they do well, and we skipped over all of them.
No, you talked about DJ Jones.
I said DJ Jones is a good run. Yeah, I said DJ Jones is a good run defender, and that's it. He's one of those guys that's just kind of like, I don't know, he's pretty balanced. He's like a jack of all trades, master of none. I saw somebody call him Shelby Harris Light, which I think is an accurate description.
Kind of valid.
Yeah. like there are Broncos fans legitimately that are trying to convince themselves that he is better than Shelby Harris, and they are sorely mistaken. Like I said, I made my Broncos prediction TikTok, and I had one Broncos fan defending that take with his life, and I thought it was hysterical because he was so wrong. But like Draymond Jones is here. He's somebody that he has a good get off, and he's somebody that consistently gets better. But I mean, he is like squishy down there. You can run through him.
I was gonna say he's never
not
part
good.
of a play.
No,
Like
never.
he doesn't get involved. Like, cool, he can create pressure. So I know stats don't mean that much, but when your total tackles, solo and assisted, is 1, and you played 90% of the defensive snaps, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Defensive lineman. Like, that's not great.
Yeah.
So maybe he needs to. Same with Deshaun Williams, honestly. They need to, like, get involved. And it's all on them, whether they do or not, is the biggest issue.
I agree completely.
But
outside of that, you've got Purcell, who's like space eater, the definition of a space eater. That's kind of all he does. Henningsen, he's a rookie, right?
I believe so. Also, shout out Mike Purcell because he went to the University of Wyoming. So
there's more than one NFL player that went to Wyoming.
There's actually a shockingly large amount.
Oh yeah, because Muma went to Wyoming, didn't he?
Muma, Logan Wilson, Josh Allen.
I knew Allen.
Tashawn Gibson.
Really? Bears legend Tashawn Gibson.
Yep. Like, some genuinely good NFL players went to Wyoming.
Interesting.
I can look it up and find more here in a second, but yeah, I just needed to shout out Purcell because nobody talked about it. And then Henningsen is a rookie, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a solid backup 3 tech. He's all right.
It's fine, but he's a backup, so you're not really expecting much.
Yeah, and then you've got, I don't know how to say his first name, but Awazarike.
Yeah.
He's just big fucking, like, he's crazy because he's not great, but his size and his quickness should not be what they are. He's a massive dude, but his feet are really quick, and he's just kind of like adequate at everything. So he's a good rotational guy, you know. Gotta give him his credit. Like I said, I just like to make sure everybody gets their little 2 seconds. But
let me do this real quick. Let me share with you the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
there are 9 NFL players from the University of Wyoming.
Okay.
Got Josh Allen, Logan Wilson, Mike Purcell, Chad Muma, Andrew Wingard, the safety for the Jaguars. They got 2 Wyoming players on that defense. Carl Granderson of the Saints, Marcus Epps, Tashawn Gibson, and Chase Roulier, the center for the Washington Commanders. So, like, only really 2 stars there, like, but still.
Yeah.
Almost every Wyoming guy is not only that has made the NFL is like actually a starter on their team, which is wild.
Yeah. Also, isn't it crazy that the most Wyoming players in the league are on the Jaguars?
Yeah.
Imagine the culture shock of going from Wyoming to Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the best.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I was going to try to pull a positive out of that. There's not one.
You go from the weird weather to the swamp. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's better or not.
Yeah. Anyways, we got to wrap this up and talk about this secondary. Pat Surtain's going to be a superstar, obviously, if he's not already. He's incredible. The only issue with him, I think, last year was like he didn't produce a lot, but I think that was more or less teams just respecting him and not throwing his direction than it was him not making plays or not doing anything.
Well, I mean, it's tough. I don't know. I think Surtain, he's a corner. They're not going to put up that many numbers anyways.
Right,
I mean, he had 62 tackles and 4 picks as a rookie with 14 passes defended.
Oh, he had... Okay, never mind. He produced a little bit more than I thought. Okay.
You got to remember, I mean, Trayvon Diggs makes us all confused Trayvon Diggs and Xavier Howard have kind of made us all confused about what a corner producing
4
is.
interceptions is a good year, especially for a rookie corner.
Yeah. 14 passes defended is also really good.
Yeah, so I'm a dumbass. Ignore what I just said.
Well, but Patrick Surtain wasn't like the king of the highlight reel. A lot of his interceptions were just fine. They weren't digs. They weren't special plays, which makes sense. Surtain's a coverage corner. Diggs is a playmaker. They're always going to be different. Just like Tyrann Mathieu versus like Harrison Smith. They both play strong safety. They do not play the same at all.
Right.
Matthew's always going to look more flashy. That's just how that goes. But Surtain's great. I think everybody knows that. Your other best piece, Justin Simmons, is apparently on IR.
Really?
After the Seattle game, due to something with his thigh.
Oh.
But he did play in the Seattle game.
Okay.
But yeah, Simmons didn't show up at all this year, but he is one of the best safeties in football.
Yeah, I think him and Surtain, as well as these other guys, they all have in common the fact that they're really, really smart DBs.
Yeah.
And, Simmons and Surtain both have in common as well that they're not super athletic guys, but their intelligence and how polished they are make up for it. So it's an interesting group. I mean, on top of them, you've got Ronald Darby, who I guess he's kind of the outlier. He's the opposite. He's a good athlete, but he's kind of inconsistent up here.
Yeah.
But Kwan Williams, he's kind of 50-50 though. He's a little bit quicker, but he's also smart.
Michael Ojemudia is a great slot corner. To be fair, he's hurt right now. But
okay. I forgot
he's
he was
on
even
IR.
with them still.
Yeah, he's just on IR.
Yeah,
which does suck because they lost Bryce Callahan and they expected Ojemudia to replace him.
Yeah,
and he can't.
No, I think Kwan Williams is going to be big for them in terms of replacing Callahan.
Yeah.
Because he's a fantastic run defender out of the slot. He's reckless, but like in a good way, if you get what I mean. Like, he's going to go out there and make plays. He's not the most safe. He's not the most disciplined corner, but he makes up for it with the turnovers and the plays he can make. Yeah. He plays bigger than what he is, I feel like, because he's a smaller dude. And he's got a really good understanding of how offenses try to manipulate him. And he almost manipulates them back. Like he's good at using what they want to use against him, against them. So he's a really interesting piece in this secondary. And I think he's going to be fun to watch for them. I don't remember if he did anything against Seattle.
He had 2 tackles.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he's a corner playing in the slot. He's not going to get a ton of anything, really.
Yeah.
It's a very low praise job being the nickel corner, basically. They also have Kareem Jackson.
Who's fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, dude, he's 34. Like, you should have seen this coming, if we're being honest.
Well, I think he's just kind of there because he's like, good and he's in good with the team and they want to make sure he's got a job. But he's not good.
I didn't know this. The Broncos brought Anthony Harris onto their practice squad.
I didn't know that either.
Dude, Justin Simmons is out. Why is he on your practice squad?
Because Caden Stearns probably. Yeah,
okay,
Caden Stearns.
So bench Kareem Jackson because Harris literally has always been better. That it's still wild to me that the Eagles cut him. Like, I know they brought in CJ Gardner-Johnson or Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, whichever name he prefers. I don't know. But, like, cut somebody that's not him because you're going to have CJ in the slot anyways. He's not playing safety for you.
Yeah.
Anthony Harris was your best safety. Why would you? I don't get it. That was a weird. That was Philadelphia's front office remembering it's still Philadelphia. But yeah, and then now the Broncos are just being dumb, and we're not going to have him on the roster. That doesn't make sense. Like, I
Who
get
knows,
you want
man?
to start Caden Stearns because he knows the defense, then fine. You're telling me PJ Locke deserves a roster spot more? Or DeLauren Turner Yell?
Well, he's a rookie. They're gonna give him his chance.
Yeah, on the practice squad where like 7th round rookies belong. Come on.
I don't know, man. Shout out Damari Mathis. He's on
Shout
this
out.
team. Yeah. Good man, good length, good speed, good physicality. Good ball player.
You a big Damari Mathis guy?
I'm not a big Damari Mathis guy. I just know he exists and I know what he's capable of doing.
Guy out of Pitt, your favorite town?
You already know. I
You already
love Pitt.
I'm sure you do, buddy.
Man, I'm such a big who else went to Pitt other than Kenny Pickett? Well, Mike Ditka went to Pitt.
Oh, did he?
I think. If not, he went to a school very close to Pitt.
Oh, not from Pittsburgh, from Pitt.
Yeah.
From Pitt. All-time NFL players from Pittsburgh. From the University of Pittsburgh. All right.
Yeah,
Darrell
University of
Revis,
Pittsburgh.
Larry Fitzgerald, Curtis Martin, and Tony Dorsett, Chris Dolman, Mike Ditka did go there, and finally Dan Marino.
I knew Marino went there too. I just couldn't think of his name. Yeah. Mike Ditka. He's from Aliquippa. That's his hometown's name.
That's
it's a small town in Pittsburgh, or outside of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania.
Oh, Aaron Donald also played college football at Pittsburgh. Why he was left off that list, I have no idea, but yikes.
Strange.
Who else is here? That one doesn't feel right.
Who?
Nope, that one is right. Cam Hayward also played
that
for
makes
Pitt
sense.
and then to the Steelers, which is okay.
The Pittsburgh
Heath.
pipeline.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy, but that's a good name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's basically it. But
yeah. But anyways, that wraps up like talking about the roster. I think we've both pretty much explained that we're pretty low on this team.
Hold on. I cannot let you get away with this. That wraps up talking about the roster.
Oh, do I have to
special teams, motherfucker?
This is the only episode where we're going to be talking about special teams. Then
we did it in the Vikings one too.
Why?
Because you have the special teams guy on the show.
Oh, okay.
We're doing it for the brand. Damn it.
Go ahead, rant about Brandon McManus.
Yeah. Okay. McManus is weird.
Yeah.
Because he's got a big leg, but he is inconsistent as all hell.
Yeah. Hasn't he never hit a field goal past 50 yards or something weird?
No, he has. Brandon McManus.
If it's not 50, then it's 60, because people were going off with some stat about that after he missed the kick against Seattle.
Just the 64-yard kick literally has been made 2 times in 72 attempts.
Oh, okay.
It's not just a McManus. If your name, so technically it's 3 guys because Justin Tucker hit a longer one. Mm-hmm. But if your name is not Justin Tucker, Sebastian Janikowski, or Matt Prater, you have never kicked a ball that far in a game ever.
Okay, gotcha.
Those 3 are the only 3. And Prater, just like McManus, is inconsistent with a hell of a leg. Mm-hmm. And Sebastian Janikowski was the best kicker of his generation. There's a reason he wasn't Seabass a first-round pick?
Yes, I believe so.
Seabass is the GOAT. I'm a big Seabass guy, but Brandon McManus,
fat kicker.
Hey, that was when he was older.
Yeah, well, that's what I remember from him. You got to remember, I didn't start watching football until 2010, 2011.
You're a young buck. I forgot. I'm trying to see his career long is 61.
Okay.
And but he's always been an 85% guy, 75 to 85% guy, which is not great.
Right.
But at this point in the NFL, it's serviceable because you have these guys. Dan Bailey was the most accurate kicker of all time for a while. And then he had one bad year in Dallas, went to Minnesota, and became the worst kicker to ever live. That was awful. It was tough to watch. Kicker's a weird position. But McManus, the Broncos actually have a pretty decent one. They're not sitting in the position like the Chargers have been, or the Panthers, or any of these teams where they've just been screwed, or even the Bears at that point.
Hey,
over the last few years.
No, we have Cairo now. We've had Cairo for 3 years, I think.
That's not right.
2 or 3.
Last is year 2.
No, it wasn't. Cairo's first year was not last year.
Yeah.
It definitely was not. It definitely was not.
We're looking. Pro Football Reference. He started in Chicago 2020, so this is his 3rd year. Okay.
So I was right.
Okay.
You think I don't know my own kicker, motherfucker?
I mean,
I'm a Bears fan. I know too much about our kicking situation, but only our kicking situation. I don't know. I
think after Cody Parkey, y'all kind of just zoned out.
No, it was the opposite. We all zoned in. We were praying practice squad kickers from like Eddie Pinheiro from the Raiders and
apparently you should have traded for Justin Reed. He could have played safety and boot
there was another guy too. He went from the Ravens, I think, to the Jets. He has a funny name. Not a funny name, a different name. I shouldn't call it funny. That's rude.
I don't know. I don't. Catanzaro?
No.
Ficken?
No, he was
Ficken?
No, he wasn't even on the team for a game. He was just there for camp.
Oh, I have no idea then. I got nothing for you, bud. Moving back to the Broncos special teams for a second, though. Corliss Waitman, he's their punter. Rookie out of Mississippi State. He only had one punt in the Seattle game. It wasn't great. It was a 36-yard punt. That's not. That's who
it was. Chris Blewett. That's who it was.
Oh, yeah,
Chris Blewett.
I love that
Chris
guy.
Blewett and Elliott Fry.
Because Blewett ended up in Washington last year, and I was making jokes about that.
Oh, did he?
Every time I saw him. Because he missed his first career kick. And I just remember this because I tweeted out, Chris Blewett.
You're a comedic genius.
It was great. Thank you. I do like to think so.
There's also another kicker I can't think of that was with the Bears. This is the guy that was actually a what's it called? That was a practice squad guy. Blewett, I think, actually made the team at one point. I could be wrong. No, he didn't. He was a practice squad guy too. I'm thinking about somebody else. Anyways, keep doing your thing.
But moving on from that, the returners are both Montrell Washington.
Oh, there he is, Kyer Vedvik. That's his name. Kyer Vedvik.
There he is. Jesus. Can't do that to a guy. Scared the fuck out of me.
What happened?
Your weird scream. You didn't go, oh, you went, ah! There he is. Oh, God, what?
I thought there was a technical issue.
No, it was you.
No, I'm just an ape. I'm an ape, man. But yeah, Kyer Vedvik. That's the one I was thinking of.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. The Broncos special teams unit is kind of bad. Like, even their long snapper's not that good. He is from Northern Colorado, though.
You're telling me you know teams' long snappers?
Not all of them, but some.
You know the ability of some of their long snappers.
So like the laces on a kick.
Right, I know
that's
that.
On the snapper.
Right,
so
I know that.
Yeah, you can tell just by watching the holder actually tells you how the long snapper's doing. Because when they go to
okay.
put the ball down, if they're adjusting it a ton, long snappers doing a shit job.
Okay.
Constantly.
I have a question for you about long snappers then. Maybe you can answer this question for me because I want to know how this happened. Did you hear the Bengals long snapper tore both of his biceps?
I know he got hurt. I didn't know it was both biceps. How?
That's what I was going to ask you. You said you're the long snapper guy.
Practice
I don't know.
Is what I don't know.
I don't know if... See, my theory is that he got hurt in the weight room, right? Because that would make more sense. But there's also part of me that's like, did he just snap the ball so hard that he ripped his biceps?
Well, it does say he... Okay, hold on. Bengals signed snapper after injury. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I am so sorry.
No, you're good.
Cincinnati placed Clark Harris, the 14-year vet, on injured reserve. He injured his biceps during the season opener versus Pittsburgh.
Dude, he snapped the ball so hard he tore his biceps.
Did he snap it so hard, or was it just one of those? I'm genuinely wondering. I'd have to go find the play.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it, obviously. I'd have to go find the play. But I think it's one of those. You're not really allowed to touch the long snapper, but he does still try to block when he gets up.
Right.
I'm kind of wondering if when he popped into those two guys, he just... He's a different dude. He probably did destroy both of them just snapping the ball.
Oh, that's insane.
What's fucked up is I need to go look because was it the bad snap? Did he blow
he was
out
out by then. He was out by then. That's why the snap was bad, because they had like a fourth string tight end snapping the ball.
I didn't see all of that game. I was watching a ton of Red Zone, and then the Steelers-Bengals game is the one I've least wanted to go back and watch film on. Like, I know, here's what I know. Burrow, bad. Minka and TJ, good. That's what we know. And that's really all that I care about. Other than, like, weirdly Najee played bad. Don't love that. But what can you do?
Right. I just got that Mitch played mid from that game. That's all I've gotten to take away.
Well, my takeaway was from early on.
Right. Fair.
I tweeted out at like halftime that the Steelers have the two front runners for Defensive Player of the Year. Because they do. TJ and Minka were nuts week one. Now it's going to be all up to Minka to carry that defense, though, so that's scary. But, all right, I've yelled about the special teams in Denver. Let's wrap this. You wanted to be done in an hour. It's been 2.
It's fine. My headache went away. We're good.
See, the medical effects of my voice, they're just great.
I think it went away when I started talking about Andrew Beck, so I got enough serotonin to set everything straight. No. In all seriousness, though, like, I know it's kind of cheating because we've already seen them play once, so we don't have the, like, kind of blindness that we had for all the other predictions, but what do you think this team's record is going to look like at the end of the year?
They're going to be the worst in their division. I know that. I still think they have too much talent to be, like, awful. So give me, like, 8-9, 9-8.
That's where I'm
probably
at too.
Somewhere in there.
That's where I'm at.
I don't see them being awful, but I can't predict them to be like good.
They're not a playoff team.
They're mid. The Broncos are mid.
I agree completely. That's exactly
where
I'm at.
Bad with how much talent they have. Oh my God. The Broncos are the last 4 years of the Vikings. That's what this year's Broncos are. The team everybody went into the season saying, this team's going to be really good. And then they're mid.
Yeah, I agree. I don't even have anything to add. They're just mid. They really are.
That's not the worst for the Broncos. At least they don't suck. So Seattle's not going to get top 10 picks.
Yeah,
so that's good.
They get to stick it to Seattle by giving them like the 15th pick.
Yeah, when they were hoping for the 32nd.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Tough.
But unless there's anything we missed over, which I don't think we did because you made it a point to talk about the special teams.
Yeah, I had to get my special teams guys in there. I literally don't think we missed anything.
Yeah, I think that about sums it up. So, to everyone out there watching, I hope you enjoyed. I'm very sorry this came out after the season started. Things just got weird behind the scenes. Shit happened, shit went down, and I had no way to like force myself to schedule things or just be like, fuck it, we're gonna do this now and not wait.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to do that today, but
Yeah.
obviously
You
day
put
before week
homework to the
2.
side.
Yeah, it's been a hectic week, and I apologize for that, but it is what it is. We're gonna get them done anyways. We got the 49ers one coming out. I'm recording that tomorrow. I'm probably gonna upload this
Hopefully.
later tonight. So no, I'm definitely am.
Okay.
Worst case, I will do it myself and just talk about Kyle Juszczyk for 90 minutes.
If you have to do it yourself, I need the opener to that podcast to be the Thanos post-credit scene from the Avengers. The fine,
I'll
do it
do it
myself.
myself. Yeah, and I'll snap myself into a Kyle Juszczyk jersey and just rant about him for 90 minutes.
There you go.
If only I
Way
had
to
the
go.
editing capabilities to do so. Anyways.
Fuck it, send me the clips. I'll do it for you.
But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this very late episode. Make sure to let us know down in the comments why we're probably wrong, because I know all the Broncos fans will let us know that. But if you're not a Broncos fan and you have more than 2 brain cells, let us know what you think about the team. Because Lord knows Broncos, like literally, I'm starting to understand why Geek hates the Broncos and Broncos fans. They are awful. But
Broncos.
anyways,
Oh,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
try to steal the outro from you.
Oh,
I wanted the very end there to just be. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you go. I
well,
want
I
to
was going
steal
to
it.
say real quick, Nico did that to me when we did the Dolphins episode at the start. I started to do my intro and he just goes, Broncos country, let's ride. And I left it in
Damn it!
because it was funny.
The
But
ending I was going for was Broncos country. You tried. That's how I wanted that to end. Damn it.
great. No, but yeah, make sure to leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about the Broncos, why you agree, why you disagree, any of that good stuff. And also make sure to leave a like, because like I said, I've had a stressful week and it would give my brain a little bit of happiness or something. I don't know. I don't like begging for likes, but I'm supposed to do it anyways because YouTube. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. To Geek and of course everyone out there watching, I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it because you're all wonderful people.